Hi, and welcome to this video on how to use a really simple but powerful tool called the Growth Calculator. We're going to use it to help you realize your growth potential. You see, it's one thing to set some growth goals for your business, but it's another thing entirely to know exactly where to focus your energies to take you from where you are now to where you want to be. And to help us do that, we're going to be undertaking what we call a growth potential analysis. And that's where the Growth Calculator comes in. Let's explore it together. Let me start by giving you a quick bit of background. To determine where to focus to achieve your growth goals, your very first step is to understand the factors that drive e-commerce growth. When you really boil it down, there are three core drivers of growth. They are, number one, the amount of traffic you generate as measured by the number of visitors that come to your site. Number two is the amount of traffic you convert, measured by your conversion rate of visitors to sales. And finally, number three, there's the value you generate from each customer, which is based on your average transaction value and the number of transactions per customer per year. Now, growth in even one of these drivers can significantly increase your revenue, but growth along a number of drivers actually creates a multiplier effect that can literally revolutionize your business. And this is where the science is when it comes to digital marketing strategy. It's one thing to drive traffic to your site. Obviously, that's important. But if not enough of them are converting into customers, and those customers aren't generating enough growth and value over time, then you may not actually hit your growth goals. To illustrate, let's say that last year you received 50,000 visitors to your site based on some Facebook and Google ads, and your site converts at 2.5% into paying customers, giving you exactly 1,250 new customers for the year. Then let's say that your average customer spends $200 per sale and makes on average 1.5 sales per year, right? That would result in total revenue of $375K. Wonderful. But what if you could increase each of those growth drivers by just 10%, right? In other words, you take them from 50,000 visitors to your site to 55,000 visitors. And you move from 2.5% conversion rate to 2.75, and from $200 average transaction value to 220, and from 1.5 transactions per year to 1.65. As you see, it would result in revenue of over $1 million, which is an increase of over $600,000. Significant. Right? Or let's use an example that starts from an even lower baseline. So let's say you're just cracking $100,000 per year in sales, right? 108 to be specific. Even a 10% increase across each of those growth drivers could almost triple your business to over 300,000, right? So even if you moved from 20,000 visitors to 22,000 and from 2% conversion rate to 2.2 and so on, you could achieve quite a significant leap in growth. Now, what does this calculation mean for you and your business practically? Right? It means that if you're looking for growth, you should focus your time, energy, and resources around the growth drivers that need most help. In my experience, most businesses could in fact do with help in all three areas. And of course, there are strategies for assisting in each of those areas. But it may be that one area really sticks out for you. And if so, that's probably where you should start. Now, how do you conduct your own growth potential analysis using the Growth Calculator? Well, let's explore how to do it. So step one, open up your Growth Calculator, which you can download below. Once you've done that, your first task is to set your baseline. And to do that, you'll need to gather your past year's data. So number of website visitors, conversion rate, average transaction value, average number of transactions per year per customer. And you can get that from your e-commerce platform or from your Google Analytics portal. And then add it into the previous year column, as you can see on the screen, to create your baseline. That's step one. Then step two, you'll need to set your growth percentage. This requires deciding on a realistic but challenging percentage increase for each growth driver for the coming year. You'll need to estimate this based on your specific situation. For example, if you're not currently driving much traffic to your site, but you plan to start a paid Google Ads or Facebook campaign, then your baseline might be very low and your percentage increase may actually be very high. And that's okay. On the other hand, if your site is already achieving a very high conversion rate, your percentage increase might be minimal. And so on, depending on your particular situation. Number 3, once you've done that, step 3 is to compare your projected revenue goal produced by your growth calculator against what you hope your business will achieve in the next year. In other words, what you might call your ideal 1-year revenue target. Ask yourself, how close or how far are you from achieving your ideal goal? This will give you a bit of an insight into how realistic your ideal goals are. Next, it's time to adjust your numbers. Consider whether you should adjust your percentage increases to move you closer to your ideal revenue goal. Right? But if you do, be careful. It's good to be ambitious. It's important to be ambitious, but you also need to be realistic. If hitting your goal requires you to adjust your growth percentage too much, maybe you need to revise down your ideal revenue goals for the year. And then finally, 5, based on your analysis, and this is where rubber really hits the road, consider which areas need the most urgent focus. So is it your traffic generation? Is it your site's conversion rate? Is it your ability to grow the value of your customer relationships via increasing, transaction value or purchase frequency? Which areas will have the biggest impact on your growth? Right? Those are the areas you should be focusing your time and energy on in order to take your growth to the next level. So, in summary, here are the steps. Number 1, open your growth calculator and set your baseline based on your past year's data. Set your growth percentages. Review those against your ideal 1-year revenue target. Adjust your numbers appropriately based on your situation, and then decide on which areas to focus on to achieve your goals. Good luck applying this to your business.